Well, it's been no secret houses have been flying off the market in Miami, and now one apartment search website is taking note of that, naming Miami the hottest rental market. CBS News Miami's Steve Maugeri talked to a renter and property manager on what they are seeing throughout the city.
A property manager we spoke to says this data makes Miami a landlord's market because there are a lot of people all competing for a small number of vacant apartments. And a renter that we spoke to says this data can create some kind of a bidding war, making it a lot harder to move.
Rick Falcon says his apartment in Coral Gables is less expensive than the going rate there. He says leaving it would be burdensome, and he doubts that he'll find a better deal.
For the price point compared to other rental rates, I do think that it's a good deal.
RentCafe ranked Miami as the top rental market in the country for this year. Key factors were the influx of new residents and an average of 18 people competing for each available apartment. Couple that with a 96% occupancy rate, and you have a lot of people competing over limited inventory.
Does that help you?
No, absolutely not. That makes the odds are against me, you know, and there's enough stress involved with just moving in general to also have to be competing against others and not knowing what you're up against definitely doesn't make the move any easier.
Multiple applications coming through.
His property manager is Eileen Quesada. She says her apartments are more reasonably priced, so she isn't surprised by the rental market ranking, since it can be more affordable than buying a house down here, and she says the proof is in the demand.
Our apartments always have a quick turnaround. As soon as I post an apartment for rent, I have multiple applications coming through.
Quesada says the data aligns with her usual experience with a vacancy. RentCafe found that on average, a Miami apartment is vacant for about 33 days. For her units, it's usually less.
In about 2 weeks, we can have somebody approved and moving right in if it's vacant.
Despite the ranking, RentCafe expects a cool down in Miami's rental market in the next year. Since supply has increased, less people are competing for each apartment, and vacancies are taking longer to fill. Quesada says her units will stay hot because of the prices.
Another major factor is rent. As we all know, Miami is consistently ranked as one of the most expensive places in the country to live in. So the renter that we spoke to says that if he were to leave his apartment, he'd likely pay more in rent since he's getting a really good deal. And his property manager says that if one of her apartments becomes vacant, the next tenant will likely pay more in rent. In Miami, Steve Maugeri, CBS News, Miami.